everyone. In this video, we are continuing on with our series modernizing the MyListing demos, and we have been modernizing the car demo specifically to start with. So in this video, we're going to do as we've done in others. I'm going to catch you up with what I've done since recording the last video, so you're sure not to miss anything that I've worked on. And then we're going to start looking at the blog page and possibly the newsletter in this video. Okay, maybe more. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's first get you caught up. The verified listing badge was one thing I took care of, and you see that I chose like a gold color to kind of pop off the screen there. And I want to show you how I did that. I've done another video on this, but I'll show you really quickly. However it is that you access your server files, whether it's an application like FileZilla, which is what I'm using here, which is a free app. You can use it on whether you're a Mac user or a Windows user, you can use it. There's other plugins I really like DevKit Pro, which I offer people, which allows you to do this right from within your website. So any way that you can get to your server files, that's what you're going to need to do for this. So we're going to go into the WP content folder, themes. We're going to go into MyListing child theme. So what you see here is a folder called assets and then a subfolder called images. So if you go into the parent theme, you're going to find that same folder structure. So if we back out, we go to MyListing, and then we go to assets, and then we go to images. Okay. And you're going to grab this tick.svg image, and you're going to pull that down to your computer and edit it. Okay. Once you edit it, you're going to then create, like I said, that same folder structure in your child theme, and then you're going to upload that file to there. So now it's in your child theme, and the parent theme will never overwrite it. Okay. So to edit that file, that SVG, I use Visual Studio Code, which is a free application. There's other ways you can edit SVGs, but this is like a regular text editor. So it's up to you how you want to go about it. So let's go ahead and see if we can edit this here. There we go. Cool. All right. So let's see. Get rid of some stuff here. Here we go. So the thing we want to look at here is this right here, this path fill. That's what you need to change with the hex color of your choice for your color. So this is the gold color we are using. Change that color, save it, save the file, and you're done. And then that will result in this right here. So if you're not familiar with it, it's also in single listings. So it's going to appear right there, that gold color. Okay. Next up was links. So I alluded to in the other video how we got to think through the links and the buttons because of how MyListing works with button colors and links colors, and Elementor does. It's kind of funky how they both work together. So you got to kind of think through there. So what I decided to do was go into site settings with Elementor and then go into typography. And I actually removed the link. So hover and non-hover state for links, just remove them. So as of the time of this recording, we literally have nothing configured in the typography settings. Everything is in global colors, in global fonts, and then down here and things like buttons, but the typography area is not touched at this point. Okay, and then in WP Codebox, I added underline styling. And because this is going to appear all throughout the website, we want this to be in the global CSS. So let's go down here and find the underlines. Not a lot of code, just hover and non-hover states right here. That's going to set that up. And we are covering the Elementor side of things with the text editor. And then also on the WordPress side of things with the WP editor. So any of those links. Okay, so that's good enough for now. Let me show you the result of that. So I created a link on the homepage. Let me actually go to the homepage because I want to remove this while we are here. So I created a link right here just to show you what it's going to look like. So the text, the underlines are going to be bolded a little bit, and then they have the underline. And then on hover, they're going to dim just a little bit and remove that underline. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this while we're on here, just to show you. Remove, boom. Boom, done. Okay, so that's the underlines. Next up is Mapbox. So we looked at the Explore page last time we were here, and we had no map. So I wanted to put something on there. So we go over to Theme Tools, Theme Options, and then, Theme Tools, and then Map Services. And then I switched it over to Mapbox, put in my API key, and then I left all the settings as default for the purposes of this video. And plus, if you were to happen, if you buy the starter site once we're done, you're gonna plug in your own information in these various settings here. So that's why we leave the defaults. Okay, so now we have the map here, and I didn't get into doing like zoom and all of that stuff. But if you want to get into doing like the map zoom and stuff, we could fire up the Explore page, because you see here how it defaults to London. So you can come in here, click on the widget, the Elementor widget there, and then drop down into the default latitude and longitude, and also the default zoom levels and all that. You can adjust that to your liking. I'm actually going to remove that whatever that color was that came from the demo. So I'm going to remove that just so we're basically starting over. Okay, and I chose the map skin as light, but you can go and put any kind of custom skin that you want in there. Okay, so that's what we have. What else did I mention that? Okay, the other thing I did was I changed this. This text right here used to say search as I move the map, and I feel like I like to change that wording. So I said update search while dragging map. So update search while dragging map. You drag the map, your search on the left results here are going to adjust. Okay, so you got to tick that box, drag the map, and your results will change. Okay, on the advanced search form, so that's this side right here. That's your advanced search form. I changed what are you looking for. So let's go over to the demo. This is the default MyListing, the way they do things. So they used to have this text, what are you looking for? And it was kind of redundant over here. So we now have replaced what are you looking for with the name of our site, Auto Finder, and then I filled in the subtitle right here. Okay, gave it a subtitle, which is, if you'll notice, is similar to our homepage. Go to our homepage. It says Auto Finder, find premium vehicles available for buy or rent. So I plugged that right in here. Okay. Location field, drop down icons. If you look at how MyListing does it with the demos, you've got these pink map icons, which I don't really like. So I changed that with just a little bit of CSS. So let's go ahead and refresh this. Now we have the black icons there, and that can be easily changed to as desired with CSS. Okay. And that is done over in WP Codebox in the Explore code right here. And that is this little bit of CSS right there. Okay, moving on, we did price. Okay, so before with the MyListing demos, they have the $ at the end, which I don't understand. So I went in and changed that to the $ is in front. And we can design this even further where we can put, let's try that now. I'd actually like to put some commas in here if we can do that. So it's not just one long number. So let's go to our our listing types for rent and for sale. Let's go to search forms, advanced search, daily rate. So we're adjusting our range field, and we want to format. So let's format those numbers. We're going to do the same over here. Price, format, update. So let's see what we have now. So we should see a comma appear between these numbers now. Yep, that looks much better. Let's check for rents. Okay, we don't have that high enough value yet to see commas in there, but that will work. So that's good. Okay, what's next? Results pane. As you see here, actually, let me show you theirs first. This is what you have if you have no results to show. You have this, in my opinion, ugly, unprofessional, sad face icon. So I changed it to use our favicon. You can put whatever image you want in here, and that is done in WP Codebox Explore page with this little bit of code snippet right there. So you just replace this URL with the URL of the image of your choice, and that replaces this image. Okay, moving down. Okay, that's it. That gets you up to speed with what I have done. Let's get all the way back out, start over here, close all my screens. All right, our next focus is going to be, I'm just working left to right. We've done the home page, explore page. Now we're moving over to the blog page. We're gonna do some stuff live together here. Okay, so first step with blog page, I'm gonna talk about the theme options. So if we go to theme tools, theme options, we have a blog tab here. Clicking into there, you see we have very little options. No styling options, very little. We can't really do a whole lot. Now, I will say this is a really cool feature. Typically, you need to do this with a code snippet or a plugin. So if you want to set a default post image, so you ensure that each of your posts at least starts with some image, you could add that here. So that I did want to point out that's a cool feature. Okay. Other than that, let's go ahead and move on. We see here under our WordPress settings, and then we go to reading. We see that by default with the demos that our blog page is selected. That's what gives us this page right here out of the box. Okay. Now there's some problems with that, or limitations, limitations, whatever you want to say there. If we want to edit that page, okay, let's go into that blog page. We cannot edit this page. So see right here, you are currently editing the page that shows your latest post. So when you set this right here, what MyListing does is it locks this page. You can't do anything with it unless you know custom code or you want to just apply some CSS and call it a day. Okay, so we're going to get around that. So this is going to be a bit of a trick. So I'm going to uncheck this. We're just going to not select any page for that. We're going to refresh our page here, our blog page. We now see that unlocks it. And that gives us the ability to build this with the default WordPress editor, or we can go ahead and edit it with Elementor. So we're going to go ahead and edit it with Elementor. When you're in here, the thing you'll notice, as we've noticed throughout this series, I'm going to pull up the navigator by right-clicking anywhere onto this page within the Elementor editor, and this navigator is your best friend, guys. I've pretty much launched that on every page you are designing. But anyway, as we've seen throughout the series, MyListing demos are still reverting to the old columns and sections, which we don't want to have. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just convert this page by clicking on this little settings wheel in the bottom left and choosing convert. Okay, then we're just going to go and highlight the section up here and just delete it. Okay, now we are on the new system, but we see we have multiple containers here. And we've also lost, we don't see that blog page. Let's see, was that ever in there? Let's go back. Okay, that was never showing in there. So that must have got injected somehow. That's interesting. Okay, so let's go convert this again. We will adjust that. So convert, delete the old sections, expand the containers. We don't need 2 containers here. So we're just going to drag the blog feed widget up into the main container, delete this other container we don't need. Then let's look at the container itself and see what they're doing. I'm going to click on this link here to kind of just link everything together as far as the gaps. And then I'm going to clear that out so we can get back to our default settings. I'm just undoing all of the stuff that was done here that's not needed. Okay, we've got some margins here, which we don't want to set. All right, cleared all of that out. Let's save our changes. Now let's go back over to that blog page and refresh. Okay, so now we see that it's working and we've got Elementor in place so we can design this how we want. Let's go back over to our rating settings and let's turn that back on. Now, what you're going to notice here is that things get wonky again. It reverts back to how my listing wants to do thing, and you're locked out again, and you can't do anything. Okay. So, moral of the story is you do not want to set this blog page. Do not set that there. Just keep it unchecked for the life of your site, unless, like I said, you're fine with just being very limited to what you can do with your blog page. There's just no reason to have this set there. Okay. So now once I unset that again and we refresh, boom. Now we have the full power of Elementor to do what we need to with this page. So we can now come in here and we can add a heading to the top. And let's go ahead and make that an H1. And let's just put blog here. Okay, so that is good. We can set our color here under our text color, global color. Let's just choose our accent. You can also just choose black. I'll do black here. In case we ever want to change our accent color, we want that text just to be black. And that is that. Let's refresh our blog page. There we go. We don't like how that looks there. And we see again, the Elementor's MyListing's old widgets. This is their blog feed widget. Okay, it's based on the old sections and columns. So it looks like because of that, they're adding extra margins and padding or whatever that you can't control. So it's unfortunate, but it's the way that it is. So if we then go to feed or blog or posts, we don't have any options because we don't have Elementor at our disposal. So let's then go and see if unlimited add-ons for Elementor, which we're using some of the free components. Let's see if they have anything in here. Let's see. Let's go to all their widgets. So let's do a search for feed. We got Twitter feed, Instagram feed. That's not what we're looking for. Let's try blog. Nothing. Let's try post. Nope. Their post also requires the pro version. So there's nothing we can do there. Okay. So we got to think of other ways around this. So I think we just roll with what MyListing gives us here, unless we want to go and do a search and install yet another plugin that gives us the ability to do posts. So we're just going to roll with this. So I'm going to style this up the correct way. I'm going to go into the advanced tab. We don't have, again, another limitation of MyListing. This is why I keep preaching that I can't imagine building a site with Elementor Pro. We can get around all of these limitations. But with this series, we're trying to do things for free using only Elementor's free version or other free plugins. Okay, so we're going to select this widget. We're going to go to advanced because we have no style tab here. That they don't provide that to us. So we need to fix these extra padding margins or whatever. So I'm going to break the chain there on the margins, and I'm going to do a negative margin on the top just to kind of bring this up there. We're going to do -50. You'll notice it'll when you have the correct value here, so -50, you'll know that because it's going to be the same all the way around. Just look for that same amount of padding or margin. So we need to do the same down here at the bottom. So we're going to do negative. Just bring that up until it looks similar to the others, right? So that value is going to be, sorry about that. Let's keep going up here. All right, so you see it actually stopped working at some point. So just find out where that value is. We'll just call it 120. Okay, and save. Let's refresh our blog page. There we go. So now we've got the foundation to start with this. What's next? So let's say we were poking around and we were trying to say well, can we build a template, like a blog post archive template? Could we do it that way? So if you go into templates and you go to theme builder, you'll see we don't have that option. So we can't do a single page, single post, archive, search results page. We can't do that. Can't do anything really because we don't have pro. Okay, so nothing in there is going to help us. I wanted to point that out. Okay, so the next thing is search. What if you wanted to add a bit of search to your site? So MyListing does have a search in the header area, but let's say I put some unique keywords in each of these posts so we can test. Let's just say awesome. We're going to do a search for the word awesome. Okay, nothing comes up because it doesn't search through posts. It's not what this search is doing. I, I mean, I'm confident that with custom development, you can make that happen, but we're not doing that here. Okay, so how can we add search to the site? Well, in our blog page, we could try to add an Elementor widget. So let's do a search for search. We can't use the basic search form for my listing because that's not what it's intended for. But we could try this search. Nope, that's also locked because we need the pro version of Elementor. Let's try UAE. Does this add-on give us any widgets that we need? So let's do a search for search. And we do have a search in here. So we think, okay, let's try that. Let's enable that. Let's refresh this page. Let's do a search. Let's drag this into our page. And we will just leave all the defaults here. We won't style this up or anything. Now let's go refresh our page. Okay, now we want to do a search for the word awesome again. Okay, we see that when you type, nothing comes up. Okay, so there's no like autocomplete results, whatever. So now if I hit enter, you'll see that the page reloads and it actually finds the post, but it takes you to a different page. So this is like a search results page, and you know that because S equals is that search. Okay, so it takes you off of your blog page, right? Away from your blog page. So you got to go back. They have to know to go back. The other thing about that search archive page is I showed you a second ago that we have no option with what we're doing to build this search results page as we would have with the pro version of Elementor. So this is all you would get. And you'd have to style this with some CSS or custom development or whatever. Let's go back to the blog page. Let's toggle off this search widget. We're not using it. Remember, I keep preaching only enable the widgets you're going to use. Let's remove this widget. Save. Let's get back to where we were a second ago. Okay. So what we can do is I did a search for what I think is possibly the best free, it's called AJAX Search. And what that means is when you start typing into search, it's going to show you your results as you type. So I went out and I grabbed that free plugin. Again, after research, I research plugins. I do spend some time looking into them. When were they last updated? What's the support like? The reputation, things like that. I don't just go install random plugins. Okay, something to keep in mind. Okay, so AJAX Search Lite is in there, and then we see that down here in our menu. So let's go ahead and click on that. And all kinds of options here. I just want, for the purposes of this recording, the basics, just to get us started. So they give us some shortcodes right up here at the top. So I'm just going to grab that. I'm going to go into my blog page. I'm going to do a search in the widgets for shortcode. Okay, luckily we have that in the free version of Elementor. So I'm going to drop that right here. And I'm going to paste in the shortcode from AJAX Search Lite. And we see a red box there. I'm going to save this. Let's refresh. Okay, now let's do that same search for the word awesome. See that? Now we have that post. It's telling us which post has it. Let's click that post. Then we can go to that post. So it's a better experience than what was there before. So you don't have to worry about that search archive page anymore. Okay. So very, very cool. Let's see. Let's do a search for awesome again. So that comes up. That's the result. Okay. Now I'm not going to do it in this video. I will do it after this video, or in between this video and the next. I'll style this up. So we'll make this all look the way we want it to. There we go. So a free, lightweight, yet powerful AJAX search plugin, all kinds of options there. Next up is, what if you wanted to do like a newsletter on this blog page? We're kind of out of luck here, right? So we need somehow to subscribe to a blog. So my thought there was, because I install MailPoet on all of my own sites and my client sites for transactional email. So that's password changes, orders, all of those things, but also using it for newsletters. So I thought, well, we're going to do that anyway. So maybe that's our solution here. So I'm going to add in MailPoet. MailPoet's absolutely free up to a certain level. You can use it for quite some time before you ever have to pay. It's why one of the many reasons I've chosen it. It's just seamless, works seamlessly with WooCommerce. So let's activate that. All right. I've done other videos and guides on how to set this up. We're not going to get into that in this video. So what I do want to do is get into where the forms are. So let me go through, I'm going to click begin setup, and then we're going to try to exit out of this thing. Just skip. Just to get out of this as fast as we can. I'll do this outside the video. Okay, now if I refresh, I think it should come up. Nope. Yeah, there we go. Nope. Continue. We want to get to the settings. So I'll do connect here. See if that unlocks it. Here's that free version that you're going to choose. Let's close that. Did that unlock it? I'll set up my own email service later. Just trying to get to the settings. There we go. Okay, so we got our settings. Now what that's going to do is unlock everything, and we want to look at forms. Okay, so let's add a new form. And we'll just pick something here. Let's do fixed bar. Okay, let's use this one right here. Close this. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and just save this. What do we have to do? Please select a list. Okay, just chose a list just to get us through this. Let's save. Okay, form placement. So we've got a little toggle here. Short code and other. Okay, I'll look at this after this video, but let's go with the short code. Let's just get that short code that we can drop. So, all right, so now let's go over to our blog page, do that same process again, find the short code widget. Let's drop that at the bottom of our page, paste in our MailPoet short code, update. There we go. So, and I'll style this up after this video. So for free now, again, we have used MailPoet, which I would recommend, and we were going to be using that anyway for transactional email. Is now going to give us our newsletter feature. And AJAX Search Lite for free is going to give us our AJAX search for our content. And yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to do in this video. And I'll style this up, and I'll see you guys in the next video.